then over there you will be more clarified.
So is it just like to ensure that no matter how the exchange rate changes, we end up paying the price we originally wanted to pay?
We ended up paying the contract amount, that's it. Whatever mentioned in the contract, that's it.
Despite the changes in like outside
if
forces.
rate goes up, then the difference will be paid to us. If rate go down, then difference will pay to the dealer. Right? For planning purpose, is a win-win. So what is the difference between future and forward? Future are more standardized, that's it. See? So similar to forward, but sold on an exchange, which means some body who regulate these contracts. So specify the standard volume of a particular currency to be exchanged on a specific settlement date. For example, one future contract is of $50,000. If you need $200,000, how many contracts you need? 4. Right? So it is regulated by the Forex, which is foreign currency exchange. It is regulated by that, and there are many people and many sellers who want to buy and sell these kind of contracts. So over there, liquidity is high, right? So it's similarly to the forward contract, in which there is a contract, which means obligation. At the end, at the expiry of the contract, the delivery should be, or settlement should be, settlement should be occurred over there. And what kind of settlements we will talk about later, whether non-deliverable contracts or the balance is like that, we will talk later when we talk about the valuation of future contract. So the rate mentioned in the contract, we call that future rate. In forward agreement, the rate is called forward rate. In future contract, the rate is called future rate. So this is not the rate in the market. This is the rate in the contract. Okay. So they're going to be, in the question, there are going to be 3 rates. One is called spot rate, the rate right now when you enter the contract. The future or forward rate, that is mentioned into the contract. And at the expiry, what is the market rate? So these 3 rates are different. So in question, choose wisely which rate belongs to which kind of category. At the end,
so market rate is at the end of contract.
At the end of the contract period, what was the rate in the market? At 30th of October, when the contract expired, your contract was 7.1, but in the market it's 7.5. When you started this contract at 1st of October, the rate was 7.2, for example, right? You predicted that it will go down till 7.1, and opposite happened, right? So that is called the market rate. That is called the spot rate. Right now, at that time when you enter into the contract, it's called spot rate. And 7.1 is a contract rate, which is called future rate or forward rate. Understand? The difference between future and forward is that the forward is more customized according to individual need. If this is a forward contract, then we don't need to make a 4 contract, just go 1 contract, because it tailors your individual needs. So bank can say that, okay, let's go for 200,000, but no bank is involved in future contracts. It is exchange. It's like shares. 1 share is equal to 50,000. You need to gather 200,000. How many shares you need to buy? You need to buy 4 shares. It's like that, right? So dealers or exchange is selling you 1 month future contract, 2 month, 1 year, 6 month, 9 month, 7 month, not 7 month, Normally it's 3, 6, 9, and 12. It is standardized. Okay. Any question?
But in the futures, in the currency derivative, we uh, we can manage the contracts, but we cannot have like the actual money, right?
We will talk about there. We will have the actual money as well. There are 2 or 3 methods for this one.
Okay.
Number one, you have the money. For example, you need 200,000. At the end, you have the money right now. You enter into a future contract, and this, for example, non-deliverable. You say that, look, I'm not going to send, buy you from this, from the dealer, buy this 200,000. Let's settlement about the differences. 7.5 minus 7.1 multiply by 200,000. So the extra amount, just credit to my account. I have 200,000. I will add it into my, for example, this is, and I will pay to the supplier. This is called non-deliverable, in which you just balance is shared. If deliverable, it means you don't have 200,000 right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, you ask your dealer, you would supply me $200,000 at this rate, 7.1. So whatsoever is, you send him yuan, and he will send you to your account dollar. There are 2 or 3 kind of contracts you can do that, in which delivery is made, in which only balance is shared. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. We'll talk about when we talk about the valuation of future contract. Okay. Now the currency options contract, which is the third category of derivatives. Some call it derivatives, some call it derivatives. Both pronunciation are correct. So the previous one, we call them contracts, but there is obligation. In this, options, they are optional obligation, which means it is choice whether you obligate or not. Please be with me so that you digest this concept. Here, number 1 is called currency call option. Number 2 is called currency put option. So what is currency call option? Call option. It means there are going to be 2 things. One is option, and on the other side there is obligation. In future, wait a second. How this happen? Come on. Zoom out. How can I zoom out? Come on. Yeah, here. So in future or forward, let me just write it down, forward as well. Two parties, and at every corner there is obligation. Right? If any of the party violates, there's going to be law. There's going to be a law enforcement here. It's going to be illegal for you to back off from your contract. So that's why we call this forward contract, future contract. There is no option here. But when it comes to option, it means at one end there is obligation, on the one end, there is option for obligation. Whether should I oblige this contract or whether I just say that, sorry, I don't want to comply, back off, right? So first of all, currency call option. The call option provides the right to buy currency at specified strike rate within a specified period. In future and forward, the rate is called, the mention in contract, we call that future rate, forward rate. Here, the contract rate is called strike rate. Okay? So don't be amazed by this beautiful, jargon or beautiful, or fancy names. It is just a contract rates. We just call this strike rate. So for here, right to buy, and who will be entering into this kind of contract? Think about that. Provides right to buy currency at specified strike rate within a specified period of time. The person who will enter into this kind of contract, he bet that in future currency rate will increase. For example, they enter into this contract, $1 is equal to 7 yuan. Sorry, let me just, so the spot rate was 7 yuan. They entered into a contract. $7.1, which we call that strike rate or strike price. And the market rate is, for example, 7.20, right? So who want to enter into this kind of contract? Those who see that in future price gonna rise. When price gonna rise, then I will exercise my option to buy. When I exercise my right option to buy, other side there is obligation. He must provide me at 7.10. I will buy from him 7.10, sell into the market at 7.20 and have a profit of 0.10. Guys, you understand my point?
Kind of.
Okay, again, let me repeat it for one more time. This is really hard concept, but if you understand this slowly and digest it correctly at this point, it will be very easy for you to understand when I enter into this valuation part. It is very easy for you to understand. So make clear all possibilities here. So here, call option is right to buy at a specific price after a specific time. So right to buy, that I will buy or I will not buy, right? It's my right, it's my option that I will buy or I will not buy. So it will compensate seller or buyer. It provides facility to buyer or seller?
Buyer.
Buyer, very nice. So it provides benefit to the buyer, facility to the buyer, or right to the buyer, option to the buyer, right? The question is, then this is seller and this is buyer.
Sir,
Yes.
do you mind to give an example for David? Maybe it would be more simple.
Yes.
It's like if I have a land and now it costs 100, okay? And David, you want to buy my land, but you don't have the money now. So we can do this agreement. In 1 month, you can buy my land for 100, the same price of today.